Yo, we out here with the homeboy, DJ Supernova.
What up, man? How you doing?
Before he catches a flight, you leaving tonight, yeah?
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah,
Going back to LA.
How's your trip been?
It's been well, man. It's always good to come back, you know, and touch the people, because I always feel like I started backwards, you know what I mean? Like I started on radio, then I met all the artists, you know, started doing all the clubs and stuff, but like the general public still might not know who I am.
Yeah.
So it's always good to come back and do, you know, these different events and put a face to the sound.
Why does it matter? Why are you consistently doing it here though, in South Africa?
You know, it was just right place at the right time. You know, when I came here for the first time in 2011, I was DJing a hip hop theater piece. Right? So I was in Grahamstown for about 8 days, and then I ended up DJing a club. I met Naked DJ in Lulu Cafe, and then from there they plugged me into Metro, and I was on their show for like 3.5 years. So, you know, just kind of like these roll of events were happening that were advantageous to me. And, you know, I wanted to see how I can contribute to the hip hop scene here, since everybody was showing love.
Yeah. So I mean, you've stepped it up a bit. Obviously, you've moved from radio. You got relations now with the artists. You do a lot of things for a lot of guys. You know, like overseas. I seen you the one time. I think Cosmo was there on Sway's show, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know. Tell me your role with most of the artists that you kind of feel that, like, well, either play things that people don't know that you do for like South African artists outside here.
I don't want to go way too into detail, but you know, some artists.
I'm not saying brag. I'm just saying things that you do. You know,
things that I've done. You know, some artists send me their music ahead of time, and I give them feedback just based on, you know, my experience and as a DJ. Some of them I just talk on the regular. You know, sometimes people tell me their plans for the next 3 to 6 months, and I say, cool, like this will work, maybe you should add this or maybe not do that. There's a few artists that are interested in coming to the States, so I'm helping them, you know, plan those things out, making connections and stuff like that. You know, there's a few artists that I feel like are almost ready or ready to hit the US market, so I try to plug them in on Sway. I play a lot of artist music in different record labels and stuff like that, just to like start creating a buzz or at least familiarity with the label heads, that there is like a hip hop movement in South Africa that's strong.
Who do you think is ready to break to the world?
Oh man, cool. So there's a couple artists for sure. I think like somebody like AKA can do well overseas. You know, he's marketable. He can you know, do the rap stuff, or he can do the you know, more commercial party chill kind of vibe. I feel like Casper can do the same. I think Shane Eagles is up there also. You know, he's really young. He's also marketable as well, and you know, he can rap. So it's something that can go far. You know, some other guys need more development, but I think like Ricky can do well too. Like, you know, just like he's just dripping in swag juice. So he, you know, that type of floss and finesse will fit right in the States. With some guidance, I think A. Reese can do okay also. You know, there's a few people. But for the most part, you know, a lot of these guys are talented in their own way, and you know, there's a lot of different audiences in the States. So there's people that like the rap stuff, there's people that like the commercial stuff, there's people that like the trap stuff. So and Nasty also, I think he can pop too. You know, it depends how he's managed.
Okay, I guess everything depends on how everything is managed.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
So with that being said, like you've obviously like kind of picked up on the sound and guys that could possibly break. And you say you kind of push guys here. What's been the reception though? I was asking you this earlier on. I was like, some of the guys who literally, like Shane Eagle, take for instance, even in AKA to a certain extent, even in A. Reese, you know, I mean, I had the conversation with the A. Reese social, and I said, you know, what are the chances of them breaking in the world if like if the sound is also a bit, if I cannot distinguish between an international rap or a local rap until I listen to the lyrics and I go, that's some shit from home. You know, but the sound is, and it's a compliment. It's a compliment. But how far do we take it though? You know what I mean? Because it's similar. You know, you're selling the same apples type thing. Your story is just different.
Yeah, I think having a different story alone will attract people to these artists.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of perception in the States, they probably won't assume that the type of music that's here is here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it's familiar enough that it won't shun people away. Yeah. So, you know, it's a two-sided sword. So, you know, depending on how you use it.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. And like from an instrumental perspective, do you ever feel that like maybe there could be something we bring to the table with the instruments?
Yeah,
you know?
I think so. I mean, you know,
I mean, you've heard the South African sound
for sure.
in a lot of places.
Yeah, so like the Kwaito stuff, like that drum pattern, I think it could be something that can be introduced as a new thing in the States. Kind of like how, you know, dancehall and Afrobeats is, you know, dancehall's been doing well for decades, but Afrobeats is now being picked up on a wider scale in the States, you know what I mean? So if we can do like hip hop on Kwaito type of beats, I think that can be another lane also. But, you know, as long as it's organic to the artist, I think that's the most important thing.
Do you think something like Ngudio Spirit would cut it as a feeling?
I think so. I think it can be done. You know, obviously the language barrier might be the biggest obstacle for somebody like Questa. But the sound of things
in English also.
No, I know, but you know, I still, it's weird because like you find yourself in a hard place because you don't want to lose that part of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, you gotta find a way to introduce it, but not overpower the other side.
Yeah. So basically, how's Trump?
Oh man, I'm just like, well, Trump Towers was on fire yesterday, so hopefully that's the foreshadowing to what's gonna happen in the future. I mean, not hopefully, but we'll see. Hopefully for whatever's best for the American people, I hope that happens.
What's gonna happen with you right now? You got all these South African artists. I mean, I know you've been telling me on the low that like you gonna get so and so to collaborate with so and so.
Yeah.
Which collaborations have already happened or in the pipeline that you can already reveal?
I can tell you who from this side I'm working with, and that's about it. Cause I don't, you know, the problem with saying things too early, sometimes you create an expectation.
Yeah.
And I want people to embrace the music versus creating what it should sound like in their heads before putting it out. So, you know, no disrespect, it's just, we're gonna leave it like that. But definitely working with like A. Reese, Shane Eagle. I hope to work with AKA. We've been talking for a little bit.
Y'all finally made peace?
No, me and AKA been good. We just like, you know, we just gotta find that middle ground. You know what I'm saying? He's a pure artist. Like he's very specific on what kind of sounds he's putting out and stuff like that. So, you know, after meeting with him a couple times, I respect his angle. You know, been trying to reach out to a couple other people that haven't been, you know, hit me back.
Like who?
You know, the family tree side, you know, somebody on that side, but also sat down with Sejo. I think Sejo is really dope.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gifted.
Yeah, nah, he's on another level. He's a perfectionist also, which I admire. So hopefully we can cut a record also. Probably gonna cut a record with Stogie T, a couple records with him. You know, I always want to be able to work with the OGs and kind of still highlight them because, you know, however people feel about them, you know, they did pave a way directly or indirectly to people. So, you know, just gotta pay respect and homage. So you know, and he's also still can rap. So
yeah, you
know.
can. Yeah,
so I'll play you something after this.
Yeah. We can't give you the exclusive because
you'll get the exclusive when it's ready. I promise you get it first.
Yo, so when you go back home now with everything that you've collected back here, like here in South Africa, when you go back home, where you going? New York, California? Where you going?
I'm going to LA for a while, so I'll be there for maybe like 2 months before I get back out.
So what are you gonna be? You seem to be traveling. You're like a backpacker that literally like keeps putting music together everywhere you're going. So
absolutely. What's
the connect when you get to LA? What are you doing there?
Well, I live in LA, so I'll be there. You know, connecting with some people. I met some good homies actually out here that they manage. Jesse from Empire. So I'm gonna talk to them, and now that they've been here, they've heard the music, they experienced the club and the nightlife and a little bit of the hip hop scene. I want, you know, to talk to them because they manage other artists as well, like YG, Kamaya, I think they got connects to Ty Dolla $ign, which would be superb because I know who I want to put him with.
I heard that like YG's manager was here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Where was YG?
YG's probably in LA. You know what I mean? But you know, I like conceptually.
What when you guys come here? What do you expect? What are they coming here for? You know what I mean?
Well, Jesse had a show. Jesse from Empire had an activation with DSTV and Fox TV, so they were here for that purpose. But you know, they're like me. They're like, cool. Like, we want to experience the nightlife. We want to learn about South Africa. We want to go everywhere. Like, we went out at least 5 days out of the week when they were here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I like people like that want to learn from the culture. Like, I never wanted to be the American to come here, collect a check, and bounce. Like, I definitely want to learn, you know, a little bit of Zulu and stuff like that. You know, learn how to cook pop and all that other shit. But you know,
that pop shit is simple. Just throw some water and ace. Just fucking get that shit pop.
I know, but then you gotta add. Then you gotta add more. And then you know, keep stirring.
Keep stirring till it gets thick. Come on, B. Come on. Yeah, that's like making eggs, B. You know what I mean?
I mean, I know people here that can't make eggs. There's one guy. I'm not gonna shout him out though. But
he can't make eggs.
Yeah,
that guy can't do jack thing.
Actually, he does very well for himself, but it's funny. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I want to be able to contribute to the culture and also learn from the culture, and I think that's what's the most important thing, especially like for people of African descent. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us in the States don't know anything about Africa, period. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is a good way for us to start like cutting that thing out.
What would you say are the don'ts for South African artists? You obviously have a wider view of, you've seen it globally. Like, without lying to each other, America is the mecca of all the superstars. But when you come here and you see like don'ts or cringeworthy moments where you're like,
oh man, I feel like most artists should read a book called Ego is the Enemy.
Okay.
You know, your biggest obstacle is yourself at the end of the day. You know, there's a lot of talented artists here that I feel they stop themselves from their best potential. That's one thing. I feel that never feel like that you're also too big for your own people. You know, some people walk with their noses really high, and you know, don't forget, like, you was like in the hood like not too long ago, or not, maybe not in the hood some people's cases, but you know, remember where you came from, and don't forget that you can lose everything in one day. So like, you know, being super arrogant or, you know, this doesn't fly, it doesn't come off well, especially you might look like food to other people, so be careful.
Especially when you're in another country and it gives an impression that we all like that. Them South Africans or them Africans. Good things though.
Good things. I like the changes in the game. Like, yo, from when I started being involved, like in 2012, to what the game is now, it's a complete 180. You know, so you know, I appreciate that, the growth. I appreciate the different companies putting money towards people. I appreciate like somebody like Shane Eagle, who made his own lane. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't follow suit. You know, it might have took him a little bit to find himself, but he found himself and he did his own thing, and you know, got the million streams on Apple Music and stuff like that. So it's great for people like him. You know, Questa's had a phenomenal year, and like, I've been like rooting for Questa for years. You know, like since probably like Dude Like God Dude came out. You know, I'm like, cool. Like, he's a star. Just like, when is he gonna crack? You know, like, there's a lot of good things that are happening, you know.
What you think about the Wale Questa thing, the Jidana, always, them being like you always around here? I mean, what do you think of all those collaborations, those international collaborations that, as a DJ, what would you have done? Like the Questa Wale collaboration, right? And then you got the Talib Kweli and the Casper, and then you got the A$AP Ferg and the Frank Casino. Your ratings on all those collaborations.
Oh man!
What else am I missing? What else am I missing? Those are the three.
For me, things have to be really organic. I think the Ferg Casino was the most organic. Like, The song isn't my absolute favorite, but I felt like that collaboration was the most organic one.
Yeah. It is.
When, like, the Quest of Wale thing, like, you know, the Wale verse doesn't really speak on with the rest of the song, so there's that disconnect for me. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think he was really needed for that track. I would have used him for another song. What was the other one you said? Casper and Talib. I would have made a whole different song. I wouldn't have made it a remix of Doc Shibboleth. That's what it was, right? Because that's not Talib's sound, you know. So it's not conducive to his style.
Nasty C and French Montana.
It's a paid feature. It's not a favorite. So just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But that's my thing though. Like, before artists collaborate, they should have conversations. You know what I mean? Like, Casper and Talib, they spent time together beforehand. You know what I mean? But I would have whipped out a whole new beat and done something else. You know what I mean? But that's the most important thing. Because sometimes, like, when you pay somebody for a feature, they're just gonna think it's a check and they're gonna bounce. You know what I mean? Versus like actually being a part of something, which is, you know, organic and honest.
All right, yo, DJ Supernova.
Yeah.
What you want to leave us with, man, before we go?
If you guys haven't checked it out, check out my docu-series. It's called USA. It's about the, you know, conversations with different artists and DJs about the South African hip-hop scene. It's on my website. It's www.iamsupernova.com. Slick is featured on this. Y'all should check that out. And just follow me on Twitter, Instagram, man. DJ Supernova.
Who else is featured on it, by the way? Just so for those that haven't watched it.
Oh, featured. Spectacular's on it. Delez is on there. Yourself. Okay, Malum Kukat. Stilo Magolide. It's a couple others. Slipped my mind. Please forgive me. But check it out. It's 7 episodes. They're about 7 to 12 minutes each, so it won't take all of your time. But, you know, that's my first contribution to the game that's out there in the world. So I appreciate you guys can watch that. Thank you.
Yo, DJ Supernova, make sure you catch him. I don't know where. Maybe on the flight to LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like JC said, man, I can land and take off the same night.
See what I mean? See what I mean? Yo, man, you gonna come back anytime soon?
Potentially in April, for a show that I'm helping put together, and hopefully for another show.
What you thought about Lupe Fiasco's comments, actually?
I think is dope. I don't know how he came across it, across SA Hip Hop. You know, it's crazy because you could just come across it on YouTube, you know, find the right thing.
I mean, even
but I just hope it's organic.
Proverb.
I think it's organic. I know people that have worked with and directly with his camp, you know, so there's mixed reviews, but I just hope that whatever comes out of it is just honest and organic. That's like my whole thing, honest and organic.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting that he found an interest.
Yeah, you know, like I said, like, people watch all the time, you know, like French Montana found those dancers from Uganda just by watching things on YouTube. So it could be like, you could have watched a Talib song and then the Talib and Casper joint came out afterwards and on the feed. So, you know, it could be a stroke of luck, or it could just, you know, somebody put him onto something. Who knows?
Well, I think he should ask you how to blow up in SA.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You've been here for long enough, he should be asking you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's easy, you know, it's easy. Like, you know, we just gotta do a nice song, collaborate with somebody from here, and you know, it'll take off.
Don't tell him, he's gonna set you up. It's consulting fees.
Yeah. No, trust, you know, checks and balances. You know, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah. We're gonna start putting in checks and balances in the game. Out here.
And the reason why there ain't no check and balances, Katy Perry gets no checks and balances because it's pop. Yeah. Some of the rap shit is pop. Some guys are in a pop hit, they're in a pop hit space.
Yeah, but I mean, also, you know, people gotta know their value. You know what I mean? Like, appropriation is one thing. Do you pick the check or you respect yourself? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get a check or you can look stupid when you perform with somebody on stage. And which is more valuable at the end of the day?
Well, I guess that's seeing it in a space. It's also like, you know, do you only become good at what you're good at? Or do you humble yourself to learn the next thing, to learn how to get the next thing, you know? Because, you know, you cannot think you're the hottest thing because you can only get a check in one way.
Yeah. I mean,
because you can only get a check in one way, only in one way.
But not necessarily. I mean, you know, we're talking about features. Like, you know, somebody like Katy Perry featured the Migos, but like, you know,
there's no checks and balances with Katy Perry.
No, but the Migos could have said no and not done the verse. I mean, but you probably would have got somebody else.
But yeah, because Katy Perry comes with this Hollywood budget that like Migos they don't mind benefiting from that. They leverage off that even if they got a check. You know, the thing is that it's still business. You know, Migos still Katy Perry. Yeah. It's just that no one is checking Katy Perry when she talks shit, and no one is checking any other white pop star when they talk shit. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, there's also that thing that, like, to a certain extent, the game can get to a point where, you know, you're on your own because you pop. But you know that you popcorn. When you're done, you're done. Yeah. But you can always come back to the game where you can listen to the checks and the balances. So you do get to that point where some guys literally, like swim beyond the ocean. Yeah. And not everybody does, but some guys swim beyond the ocean. But you know what happens once they get eaten by the sharks? They come back to the ocean, and the ocean goes, we've always been here. Show them love. So you cannot control it. You cannot try to put checks and balances with everybody, but they'll come back to the ocean.
Well, there definitely should be checks and balances in the hip-hop game.
Of course, but like, you know, you must remember though, some success is a pop thing also. Yeah. Mainstream success is very pop-orientated. So some people forget that they're actually hip-hop artists and they want to be what a pop artist is, a pop mainstream success. They give you that behavior. Yeah, I mean it's a world within itself. You know what I mean? But that bubble can burst at any moment. But when that bubble bursts, you know what's gonna happen though. I mean, you know, we spoke about it earlier. Like somebody like Nicki, like you know, but you know where they're gonna go though. She can't come back to the hood after doing that. But you know who she's gonna come crying to though. Who she's gonna? She's gonna come crying to the. She's gonna come crying to the hood, and whether the hood embraces her or not is gonna be another thing. Yeah. The thing is that she's gonna come back. Yeah. Whether she gets embraced again or not is another conversation. Yeah. But that's the checks and balances right there. That's it. So sometimes you can't check them while they're out there, because they ain't hearing nothing. Yeah. But once that bubble pops, they're gonna come back to the community. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've seen a thousand times where cats talk smack. Yeah. And they don't come back. They come back to everything and everyone else that they were literally talking smack about when they were in that bubble. Because they were untouchable then. Shit happens. They're gonna come back, B. Everything always comes back. They always come back. The question is, can they be embraced? Yes or no? That's another question. Yeah. Well, it depends what role they play on their way back, or you know, I don't know, because there's people that are on top that are still in a great mind frame. Of course. Yeah. That's why they consistently at the top. Yeah. That's why they never stop being on the top, because they always in the right mind frame. Yeah. But you know, it's when you forget what you're doing and who you're doing it for, and then if your loyalty is to the check, you're in trouble. Oh, absolutely. If your loyalty, I mean, we all want to make money. We all want to make money. Let's keep him on it. But if your loyalty is to the check, and if your decisions are driven by the check, you're gonna be in trouble. Absolutely, I completely agree. And your decisions are dictated by the check. Yeah. It's gonna come to an end. All right, yo. Appreciate you. Peace, my G. Thank you. Nice one.
Broadcast live